You're not paranoid.
Are you listening?
Hello?
Hello?
Is this thing on?
I know last time we were kind of shy because it was our first time podcasting ever. So now that we're a little more comfortable.
We're comfortable.
Working on it.
It's a work in progress.
One day at a time, y'all. I don't know why I said y'all, but one day at a time.
One day.
One day.
Direction.
The direction that we're heading now
is to talk about stuff.
Stuff that is scary and weird and important.
Yeah.
And you need to know about it. Because we find it scary and weird.
Mm-hmm.
And these are things that happen. And we want you to know so that they don't happen to you. Just like we don't want them to happen to us.
And we talk about it.
Yeah.
Face our fears.
Yeah. Face them head on.
Try to learn some stuff.
Yeah. Learn about it. Learn why you don't have to be afraid of it. Because now you know what to do so it doesn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not talking about anything specific other than making eye contact with that creeper. Stare them down. We see them. We see you, creepers.
We see you.
We see you. Yes, now we're on episode 2.
Episode 2.
And we're going to continue to talk about things
that freak us out.
That freak us out. And probably freak you out too once you hear about it.
Mm-hmm.
And are real life things. And they're not uncommon. Well, sometimes they do happen.
Mm-hmm.
And we should be aware. And I think you get it. That's important to talk about.
Yeah.
And another thing I keep forgetting to say is that if you guys know of these things that we talk about and you have either corrective information, because we're not perfect and we're figuring out as we go.
You're wrong.
You don't know what you're talking about. We're like, okay, tell us what you think.
Mm-hmm.
And we're totally open because we want to learn too. And we just all want to be
Yes, it's more of like a discussion.
Yeah.
Learning environment.
Totally. You like feedback.
Mm-hmm.
Even though we haven't gotten it yet. Maybe we won't like it later on. But right now we want it. Please. Even if it's, about the podcast, but also about the stories and your experiences with, different topics we've talked about. Or
your personal paranoia.
Yeah.
Also, this is the You're Not Paranoid podcast.
Oh, yes. The YNP podcast. Because you're not. Because these things happen. And we figure let's tackle this as a team.
Mm-hmm.
A team of wanting to know things that are scary that doesn't happen.
But yeah, speaking of, it was kind of funny today. I was listening to My Favorite Murder, because it's basically our favorite podcast.
MFP, my favorite podcast.
And they were talking about someone was saying that they should do a cruise ship for all of the murderinos. Mm-hmm. And Karen and George were like, yeah, but you don't know us because no one would ever do that because no one wants to go on a cruise ship. Because they're so scary and people die and fall off and all that stuff.
Yeah, disappear off cruise ships because you're freaking stranded in the middle of nowhere. Also, I'm totally behind. I haven't heard this episode yet.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
But it's good to know because, and it's yeah.
But yeah, and then I think Karen was like, yeah, because we're all paranoid. And I was like, oh my God. She did. And I was like, I kind of felt like it was a sign. As like our idols, our podcasting idols, were kind of like talking about the similar concept and like kind of talking about the paranoia and like the community of like helping each other and stuff. And
sharing stories that will then educate other people who are all in the same, same like mindset. And we kind of want to have each other's backs because people are a-holes and not a lot of people have each other's backs. And at least we all agree on this.
Yeah, so I just thought that was kind of a cool little sign.
Yeah.
Like our favorite podcast.
P.S. That came out after episode 1.
Yes, that
so it's not
was right after.
Like, it's a good idea. Like we
did it first. Trademark.
If nothing else, it feels serendipitous.
Yes.
Like it's meant to be. And we're like, okay, then we should keep going.
Mm-hmm. We'll try until we're not awkward anymore.
Bear with us. Let's get through these awkward teenage years together.
Yeah, and then maybe one day someone will listen to them. Yeah. Like, remember, they sound so weird in their first episodes.
Yeah, that's very nerve-wracking. For a second, I thought you were going to be like, she said you're not paranoid. I'm like, no!
I mean, she didn't say it verbatim,
but she
that was the point, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I 100% agree with that. So thanks, you guys, for encouraging us to even think like this. And really, really appreciate it. Makes us happy.
Yeah.
Like today, there was an article on Yahoo News that this, I didn't read all the details, but this poor lady, I just saw really quick.
Is it one I'm gonna do today?
No.
Oh, okay.
It's just, I'm just saying, like, oh no, you know what? That's funny because it could be considered a murder, but she basically fell off the back of a motorcycle, and I was on a blind, like a date that the guy she met online. Did you see it?
Ooh, no, I did
news?
not see that.
Yeah, she basically was found on the freeway. And, like, it's really, really sad. But they don't, all her family knows is that she was meeting up with this dude to go on a blind date. That's, I guess, technically it's still murder. But you get what I'm trying to say. It can happen in different ways. So it's like, we'll eventually cover, like, car accidents and, like, different ways that,
that you would be. I kind of like the word freaked out more so than paranoid. Yeah. But I do find myself even saying it like about myself, like, oh, I'm so paranoid about like this or that.
Yeah, let's change the stigma. Let's make it. You're
just
not paranoid.
It's something that you have flagged.
Yeah. That
you like want to take caution about or, find a way to be safe.
Like, note to self, don't do this.
Yes, exactly.
Put a little flag that.
Are you going to do
stories? Should I go first?
Are we going to say what it is, or you just want to start talking and then people can guess?
Let's say what it is.
Okay.
All right, people, guess what?
1, 2, 3.
I can't remember what I was going to say. I don't have the title.
I don't think we have a title. It was more of like gross
something,
stuff.
Yeah, something like I'm going to go with parasite.
Mine's not.
Oh, okay.
Microscopic organisms.
Disgusting things that can invade your body.
Yeah.
So, are you ready?
No, because I was not really so concerned about these things before looking into them, and now I'm like, okay, well, that's definitely going on the list.
Yeah, but you wouldn't know to even bother caring about. Just like these people who have suffered didn't know that they were not going to endure these things. Yeah. And so it's more like just let's talk about it so that you are aware and it doesn't happen to you. Maybe we can stop it from happening. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. Story at a time.
One story at a time. All right. You
can
go first.
Here we go. By the way, when I started writing this out, I wanted to tell you earlier, but I'm like, I'm going to save it because I thought it was hilarious. So maybe you won't find it funny, so we'll see. I went to write episode 2, and instead I wrote epidose.
What's that?
Like a little dose of an episode.
Oh.
I was like, maybe this can
I like that name.
Like an epidose, yeah. Oh. Maybe that can be like our little stories that people send us.
Little stories.
Yeah.
Epidose.
Like, let's get an epidose of this episode.
Or like an epidose of this topic.
Yeah, get an epidose. I literally wrote that. I'm cracking myself up.
It was so close.
But then, you know what the dumb part is? And it's like silly. I was like, epidose. And then I went to write it out, and I'm like, okay, for real now, epidose 2. I'm like, dang it.
And the word was like correct.
Yeah, it was like, we have now entered this into our dictionary. All right, episode 2 is about Toxoplasma Gondii. Not
toxic Gondii.
Not toxic Gondii. Toxoplasma Gondii, not Gondii.
He did not invent this.
He did not invent this. You know the Gondii. Now this is the Gondii you haven't heard about. Maybe you have. Actually, you should know. Let's talk about it. And like I said, it's not Gondii like the sweet Gondii. Peaceful Gondii. No, this is Gondii with Gondii. That's Gondii, like, oh, Gondii with an I? Like, no, it's actually 2 I's.
Oh my god. Did you see Gondii?
Oh my god.
What she was wearing?
Yeah.
The Gondii with 2 I's?
Gondii with 2 I's. So, and then one website actually called T Gondii, and then, like, T Gondii in the house. And then another one was Toxo, for short. And so the first thing I thought of was, like, guys on a construction site and are like, hey, Toxo, you want a pizza? Like, I'm gonna go pick some up. Hey! I don't even know what accent that was, but that came to mind. Oh, now that we're trying to make fun of it, let's
yeah, because they're stupid. They can't hear us. Microorganisms.
I was like, who's stupid?
Toxo,
got it.
No.
Yeah, no, they're just microorganisms. Okay, for real though.
Okay,
serious. What is it? So, Toxoplasma Gondii is a single-celled parasite that when you are infected by it, gives you this infection called toxoplasmosis.
I already don't like it.
I know. It sounds bad. Why does this matter? So more than 60 million people in the United States have it.
Ooh,
the U.S.
the goody U.S. of A.
The U.S. of A, yeah.
60 million?
60 million people in the U.S.
Out of...
Basically have it. I did not look
out of like, what is it, like 300 million?
Oh, a lot of people.
Just...
Probably more than
that's
that.
like a really big fraction, right? Is it 400 million now? I don't know. If only we had a
more
way
about
to
numbers than
know.
me. No,
It'll be one of life's mysteries.
Well, if you guys know, write in about that. Keyword Toxoplasma Gondii. Alright, symptoms. Symptoms it causes: fevers, swollen lymph nodes, especially in your neck, ouch, headaches, muscle aches and pains, a sore throat, which...
Maybe this is what I have.
Maybe you're just... I don't think so, because we're going to get into
it gets worse.
It
Okay.
gets better for you, but worse for a lot of Americans. These symptoms last about a month or more, and they are usually cleared out by your immune system.
Okay.
But where am I at? Your immune system is usually able to battle it, but severe infections, meaning like really bad infections, is what severe means.
Oh, thank you.
Can lead to brain. Sorry, I was just looking at your face. I'm like, am I saying something wrong?
What is
brain
that?
inflammation or eye infection? Which
Ew.
eye infections are no. I mean, brain inflammation is no good. Eye infections also.
So that's just what, if it gets worse, that's what then happens next?
It's going to escalate into your brain and your eyes.
Cool.
Which are kind of important. So
yeah, just a little bit.
Let's not do that. So who does Toxoplasma gondii affect?
Americans.
And infect. So the interesting thing is that most people don't even know they have it because they don't have symptoms.
Ooh, I don't like those kinds.
Mm-hmm. So although they can grow and multiply within a week of entering a person's body, it may
I keep getting the chills. This is all so gross.
It's really nasty. Remember, if your ignorance is bliss, don't listen.
Yeah, it should be like disclaimer. Right now. This is gonna be extra gross.
Yeah. It may be weeks or months before symptoms of infection appear, if they ever appear at all. In healthy people, hey Julie. In healthy people, the body's immune system eventually stops the spread of the parasites, although some remaining parasites can lie dormant indefinitely.
That's what I was gonna say, like the ones that just stay.
They get cozy, make a cup of tea, and their little sleeping bags. They can lie dormant indefinitely in the brain or retina.
Indefinitely?
Yeah, but you can't see them. And
so you can't, they're non-detectable when they're dormant.
Well, I'm just saying they're single-celled parasites, so at least you literally cannot. It's not like burrowing in your skin or something. You know what I mean?
But what's worse? But at least if there's I have a huge bump on my arm.
Yeah, no,
I should go check that out.
Nope, you just don't know you have it. And it's just going to chill out. But at least you might not have symptoms.
See, but now I feel like I'm going to definitely, at the end of this episode, I'm definitely going to have that. I'm going to have toxic Gondii, and I definitely have the thing that I looked up. Because that's how my brain works. Okay, just try to find all of the symptoms yes.
No.
That is lying dormant within me.
Because you,
how do I know?
Well, you'll get there.
Okay,
Let's just
I'll be quiet. I'll be quiet.
It's okay. I like that. I like your feedback. So, unfortunately, most healthy people are okay, but it's those who have a compromised immune system are the ones who get the worst symptoms. So, someone who has AIDS or is going through chemotherapy, or maybe gets infected during an organ or blood transplant. But it's your situation is already not good.
Mm-hmm.
Let's make it worse.
Yeah, I think that's kind of not fair.
That's really not fair. I think that's how it is with a lot of those kinds of diseases.
I know. I feel like your immune system should be allowed to be we're not we are the D leagues right now. You're not allowed to come in. And then toxic Gondii would be oh, sorry about that, dude. And then
just bail.
Yeah.
I'll
find someone else.
Yeah, there's so many other people. Jeez.
Pick on someone your own size.
Yeah. And this one's the one where most people who have heard about this have probably heard it in this context. are from infants who are born to mothers who are recently infected or just before they got pregnant.
Ooh.
Because it can travel via the placenta from the mother
To
the baby.
Which is also a parasite.
Like, you know,
He's like,
technically,
it's another one. It's like us.
Baby parasite. But babies.
Babies are parasites.
But moms
technically.
Want those babies.
I mean, there's different types of the symbiotic relationships
True.
of parasites.
It's never. Yeah, maybe I would say that my parents probably feel like I'm a parasite.
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say. I was like, you can ask your mother about
Ask
it.
your mom. Talk to your mom.
It's like, I haven't been able to get rid of this parasite for 29 years.
Oh man, but it is sad because it does. Let's make it sad. It does. This part's scary because obviously the baby's immunocompromised. I mean, to some extent, they're developing their immune system still, and it comes from the mom. So if the mom's immune system is, being attacked, then that's what's going to happen to the baby. But good news is, if you've had toxoplasmosis at least 6 months before you got pregnant, your baby is then protected from your own immunity, and it won't be affected.
Oh,
so that's kind of cool. So it's kind of a good thing that people are infected.
Because you can pass that immunity on.
Your immunity could then be passed on. It's the scary part is that if you do get toxoplasmosis, getting infected by this parasite for the first time while you're pregnant or just before pregnancy, then it's definitely going to go to your baby. I think I already said that. You don't really have time at that point to build up your own system. Build up your own immune system before you're able to pass that good immune system to your baby because of that. And I don't even have a baby. I have a little brother, but I have a baby. And just the thought of that is like so terrifying. And it does happen, unfortunately. But it doesn't have to. So it says, let's see, you might not have any symptoms. Most infected newborns don't actually have symptoms, but later can develop some serious ones such as blindness or neurological disorders. So that's why it's important to know that it exists, so then you can screen for that. Kind of like now, I think nowadays it's a lot better. People, like doctors, are way more on top of it, and they're aware of the different things, different like diseases or possibilities that can happen during pregnancy. Just the fact that a baby can be formed inside you is a miracle. Yeah. It's like so many things can go wrong, and it's really scary. So it's like, let's keep track of it.
I know, and science has gotten so much better.
Yeah.
I just learned for the first time that they didn't even have ultrasounds when I was born.
What?
Or when my mom was pregnant with me. They had them, but you know how like nowadays everyone like, that's a thing where you go and get your ultrasound
like a
all the time.
Yeah.
She was like, yeah, that wasn't a thing. That was more of like emergencies, or they like something was wrong and they need to figure out what.
Oh my gosh.
And
like they can see anything.
Yeah, so I didn't even know that. Like, so she didn't know the gender.
Oh.
She didn't know my gender until I was born.
You could have been K2.
Kyle.
Yeah, I'd be Kyle. No, my boy name was going to be Cody, but that ended up being my cousin's name because I was a girl and he got my name.
Yeah, I don't think
my other name.
I don't know what my boy name was, but I was going to be Lauren Ashley for the longest time.
I like you better as Katie.
Thank you.
But not saying Lauren's a bad name, but you're just definitely a Katie. So if you are infected during pregnancy, the good thing is that there is medicine available.
Okay.
So because this is so common and widespread among people, big pharma has kind of developed these drugs to make sure that they're on top of it. And you and your baby should be closely monitored during pregnancy and after your baby is born. So obviously, like if they do find out that you have it because they have tests for it, and I think actually, the next section is like how to detect it.
Okay, I was gonna ask, is that something that you normally would get tested for?
Nowadays, I think yes.
Okay.
And then under special circumstances, which I'll share in a second. I'm still figuring out this whole storytelling thing. And then last little bit is that if a pregnant woman does develop toxoplasmosis, her child's risk of congenital toxoplasmosis decreases 60% if she is treated properly with medication. So it really does have it's not perfect, but it's a heck a lot better than just being like, let's risk it.
Yeah.
Like the fact that there is medication at all is really good. So let's talk about detecting it. So they detect it using blood tests to see if there are any antibodies in your blood present. to detect the parasite. So not everyone's bio-nerds like us. So what's an antibody?
What's an antibody, Kylie?
So I think nowadays a lot of people have heard of antibodies, but I tried to write it out. Let me know what you think. An antibody is a blood protein produced in response to and counteracting, that's not the word I wanted to say, a specific antigen. So it's basically saying that antibodies combine chemically with substances that I didn't write out my definition that I wanted to reword. I actually wrote the real definition. This is from dictionary.com. Antibodies combine chemically with substances that the body recognizes as aliens
inside of me,
such as bacteria, viruses, and foreign substances in the blood, such as T. Gondii. So it's basically just your body's natural response. So the blood test is seeing if you have those markers in your bloodstream that say, yeah, you've been exposed to
toxic Gondii.
Toxoplasma Gondii. T. Gondii. So it's pretty much because you've been infected. You know how you have these little detection proteins, is the definition I wanted to go with, in your blood, ready to detect the next infection. So it's like you've already been exposed, and now you're ready for the next one. And there are different tests available. This is the cool part. There are different tests available that your doctor will order, and they're able to tell you whether you've had it in the past versus whether you're currently infected.
So that's how common it is?
Yeah. So those are basically just specific types of antibodies. I'm not even going to go into it because I don't want people to stop listening.
And they're asleep.
They're like, oh, God, this is annoying. But the other thing that I forgot to mention in our last podcast that we will be posting, I don't remember if I said this or not, we'll be posting links to the sources that we have in the graph that shows how to tell whether you're, past infection versus never been infected versus an early infection, and your newborn has signs of, possibly being infected as well versus totally infected. So I don't know why I said it like that.
She also did a hand shaking motion, totally infected.
But yeah, that little chart will be on the website so that people are worried or they want to see for themselves, or if they got their we're not doctors. I don't want to tell you how to read your test, but at least there's some proof that what we're talking about is real. I'm not making
surprise.
So here's the interesting part. People are going to be half the population is be like, no, and half of them are like, yes.
Oh no.
So where do you get it from? So it can come from undercooked, contaminated meat, or shellfish, or foods that were in contact with already contaminated raw meat or fish. So they say that if you freeze your meat, Katie's face right now is completely disgusting.
Another thing to put on the list that I'm not going to eat.
If you freeze your meat for 2 days, it will kill the parasite.
Oh, sweet.
That's good. Don't drink contaminated water.
Well,
many reasons.
I mean, if only the water source would be like, I'm contaminated, don't drink me.
Yeah, I guess.
Solve a lot of issues.
That would solve so many issues. Unwashed fruits or vegetables. So, excuse me, my friends who are like, I don't need to wash those, that's natural. No, you do, because you can get infected.
I mean, I kind of half-ass wash my
maybe,
fruits and vegetables.
Maybe give it one more rinse, just in case.
With soap?
And I wrote that everyone can be infected. Everyone's affected, everyone's infected, despite the diet. So it's like, hey, vegans, vegetarians, meat eaters, it's everybody. You are 100% capable.
Yep.
It's all via ingestion. That's the interesting part.
I see. So it doesn't matter. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. 1 week it's romaine lettuce. 1 week it's meat.
Mm-hmm.
Everything.
And 1 week it's accidentally swallowing the parasite through contact with cat feces.
I'm sorry. What?
Yes, I wrote elaborate, please.
Yes, that would be great.
All right. Well, let's see here. This parasite is actually found in one specific host, and it only completes its life cycle in one place in the world. So it lives dormant in us, right?
Yeah.
It lives dormant in us, but where does it actually propagate?
It only has one place, and all these people have it?
No. Only some people have this. It is the cat family.
See, there's there's another reason that cats are the
I just
devil creatures.
Half the population is going to be happy, assuming everyone's like split 50-50. I was cracking up like, yeah, it's like my cat already tries to kill me like as I am walking down the stairs, and now is trying to give me parasites. Awesome.
Cool.
But yeah, the way that and I'll try to breeze through this. The way that it spreads is by generating, I believe it's pronounced oocysts. The O-O.
Oh,
cyst. That stuff.
The oocysts.
Yes. Oocysts. That end up being shed in the cat's feces for about 1 to 3 weeks. So the cat has to actually be infected with it.
It's literally only cats.
Yeah, cats are its host.
Ugh.
Domestic
That's why.
Domestic cats.
Domestic cats. Domestic cats. Oh.
Yeah, or other related, aka domestic cats and their relatives, whoever that may be. Some cousin cats. But so once the infected poo, the cat poo, is in the environment, it takes about 1 to 5 days to produce our favorite word, spores.
Oh.
Spores and become infective. Parentheses barf. There are intermediate. This is the other thing. So there are intermediate hosts that can get infected before people do. So it goes from cat poo, intermediate host, to people.
Cool.
And these are birds
Nope.
and rodents
Nope.
who become infected after ingesting the
Poop
that contaminates plants, water, or soil. So it's all coming back.
Oh, so it's not even like if they don't have to eat the poop itself.
They don't have to eat the poop itself. They're eating the food. Their food is infected by poop too. So everyone is at stake.
I don't
So
like
it literally-
this.
What did I write this? It says that all warm-blooded animals, including pork and lamb, stuff we eat, can be infected with those yucky tissue cysts. I go on to explain cysts, but basically, so it goes. Let me go back. Goes into the intermediate host, where it turns into another bird. I'm not going to even bother saying. So then it turns into this other special type where it stays dormant in the brain and muscle tissue, where it develops tissue cysts. So it goes from that little spore, you ingest it, it turns into a tissue cyst. So at that point you do, I guess, see it? I didn't look that up, but so cats themselves can, because they're the host, but they can physically become infected if they eat an intermediate host like a mouse or a rat. So it's like
they would be fine.
It's like parasiteception. Yeah, parasite inception.
Wow. This is way more
I'm
gross
like, or
than I
if
thought
cats
it was gonna be.
I know, or cats like eat their own food.
Do they?
But yeah, so like say a cat was to eat a mouse, then the parasite would only breed if it went back into the cat. Do you see what I'm saying? The parasite can only regenerate if it's in the stomach
Of a cat.
or the intestines. Oh, I don't know which one. I think I read it, but people can correct us. And then it then circulates to the whole cycle I just explained. So basically it goes everywhere. The cat poop spreads, and
then that
dogs
poop
eat
helps.
the cat poop. So even dog owners are at risk.
Wait, but dogs can't. They
Dogs
can become
can be
infected, but they're
unless
not
you're
hosts.
eating your dog. Don't eat your dog.
Okay.
Don't
I'll
eat your
put. I was thinking
I mean,
about
not
it.
that that's the only reason you shouldn't eat your dog, but that's definitely a big one.
I mean, I was really thinking about it, but now that you said I could get a parasite, I'm not going to.
Right. Last but not least, do I have to get rid of my cat?
Yes.
Is a very big question.
Yes.
People who are pregnant, because this is full circle. She got it. So full circle. We're back. People who are pregnant and have cats are really freaked out. Naturally, I mean, I would be freaked out.
Yeah, I didn't even get that connection until.
That's why it's such a crazy concept. So it's like the CDC says yes, you
Oh,
may
really?
keep your cat.
Oh, I thought I was gonna say yes, because I thought your
Yes,
question. Your question was, should I get rid of my cat?
Oh.
I think.
Oh, see, I did say that. You're right.
Okay,
I meant,
and then you're like, and the CDC said yes, and I was like, oh wow, that's
They're
a
dog
strong
people.
stance.
No, sorry. I wrote, do I have to get rid of my cat? Because I have a cat. But I think the CDC said, can I keep my cat? And the answer was, yes, you may keep your cat. If you are...
That's what you are thinking.
I was thinking, do I have to get rid of him? And the CDC is like, you can keep it. It's like trying to be like, oh, no, you can, but you probably should.
Oh, that's
how it kind of feels.
Yeah.
It says you may keep your cat if you're a person at risk for a severe infection, like you have a weakened immune system or you're pregnant. However, there are are several safety precautions you should take to avoid being exposed to this parasite, including the following. So here's the part where you should pay attention.
Okay.
Not that you haven't been paying
I mean,
attention.
I will never
bing, bing.
have a cat, but...
But also don't.
But, yeah.
So number one, avoid, this is like their first recommendation.
Avoid cats.
Avoid changing cat litter.
Ugh.
Do not clean your cat poop if you're pregnant. Like they just say, just don't.
Because that's
Make your
the
boyfriend do it.
spores
Make your-
part?
Yes.
So the spores can go up in the air?
Well, technically
Or
those
no?
are the oocysts,
Oh, okay.
I think. And then it's when the spore, when it goes into nature.
Nature.
You can still get infected, and then it becomes those things that are.
Okay.
I think what it is, it affects
Different part.
warm-blooded animals differently than it does
Okay.
humans, and that's actually
Okay.
something that I'll touch on at the end. But that whole concept that it does affect everyone different. Everyone as in the animals and
The
us
animal
humans.
kingdom. Circle of
All
life.
of us together. The circle. No, you can keep your cat.
Hmm.
Don't change the cat litter. If no one else can perform the task,
Call, do the TaskRabbit thing.
Yeah.
Online or something.
yes,
Come clean my cat poop.
call your mom or your dad or your little brother or sister. So if you can't get anyone else to do it, wear disposable gloves and wash your hands. Don't reuse the gloves.
Okay.
Disposable gloves, throw them away, and wash your hands with soap and water when you're done.
So you don't need to wear a face mask or anything?
No, I think because it's ingesting.
Okay.
So as long as you're not picking it up and putting it in your mouth, I think you're
Which
doing
is
okay.
always tempting.
It looks
when
like little
picking up
pieces of
trash.
chocolate. Oh my god, that is so. Everyone's like, okay, we're done with this, ladies. Shoot, man. Okay, so the really easy way to avoid this is keep your stinking cats indoors. Just keep them indoors because
Just
the
lock
cat
them up
can't
for
get
9 months.
infected.
Just lock it up for 9 months.
Yes. Well, the cat can. Well, before that, so 6 months before that, because you have to get your immune system up. So the thing is, like, your cat will only get infected itself if it ingests an already infected mouse, right? That's that whole thing. So if you keep your cats indoors, they won't get eaten by coyotes. They'll be a lot softer and cute. They won't have fleas, and they won't give you toxoplasmosis. So here we go. Yeah, this is because the cats will get infected. I just said that by eating all the little birds and rodents. Because like, hey, look at my trophy, and they're like, oh, thanks.
Gross.
You're infected. If you're trying to get pregnant, or if you're immunocompromised, either of those categories, especially, don't adopt or handle stray cats, especially kittens, because they're also immunocompromised because they're baby cats. It's just not a good idea.
To be around.
You know, it's funny. I actually first learned about this, well, in college, but then again, hearing about someone actually affecting them, not being infected. But I know someone I used to work with. She was like, "We got pregnant, hooray! But we're giving our cats away because we don't want to worry about it." I think she was kind of also worried that they cuddle too much, like
with each other,
like with the baby.
Because
They're like big cats, but I mean, there's a lot of cute videos out there of cats being very sweet around babies. But the point is, it is real, and I'm sure that someone knows someone who either has toxoplasmosis or has some advice, or just having to go through the testing and like how scary that is. Please feel free to write in to us. You're not paranoid@gmail.com. Like keyword
Toxic Gondii.
toxic Gondii.
The secret password is.
The secret word.
The secret word.
Yeah, so it's pretty gnarly. Weird, fun
Oh my
fact.
god!
I've
how
been
dare
talking
you
forever. I'm
talk
sorry.
on a
I'm just
podcast.
excited about gross stuff. So that there's rumor in the science community that the parasite, once ingested by those intermediate hosts like mice,
Okay.
it hacks their brain.
Ew.
I'm probably going to say something incorrect here, scientifically, but I'm going to go for it. Basically, it hacks their brain and makes the mouse become slower and not
Oh
to
my
escape
god!
as quickly.
Are you serious?
Yep. And therefore results in it becoming ingested by a cat, therefore further propagating the life cycle of the parasite.
Oh, why are parasites so smart? But they're only single cells.
They're not choosing, it's just how it works in nature.
Ugh.
That was a big thing in science class. It does not happen on purpose.
I know.
It happens by accident.
Like
but it's a
ugh.
convenient accident that has continued.
But it's
But
like,
isn't that crazy?
it has to be on some level, like, choosing. Like, that's we learned about like all the different bacteria and how quickly they evolve and what they pick up in terms of like bacterial DNA. It's crazy.
Yeah. It's just the concept being those that do that keep propagating, and the ones that don't do that to the mice don't propagate. So therefore it continues to happen because it's them. Oh, Katie looks real.
I don't like this.
Remember, you could already have it.
I know, that's what I'm worried about.
But it's good because you don't want to pass it on to your baby. So if you are already infected, you have the antibodies. And when you do get pregnant, you can get tested so that you are confident it doesn't get passed to your child.
Question.
Answer.
I'm not planning on getting pregnant anytime soon.
Me too.
So should I go and eat cat poop now so that I build the immunity so that when I do plan on getting pregnant, I'm like, I already got this?
The answer is yes. And also, no, don't eat mice. Just go straight for the cat poop.
Okay.
It's probably the easiest because it hasn't actually become spore yet. It's concentrated. It's fresh from the source.
Yes.
This is disgusting. I'm sorry.
We're just kidding.
Don't eat the cat poop. Don't be a dog.
Do not eat cat poop.
Don't eat cat poop. Don't eat your dog who eats
Here's, don't eat any kind of poop. That would just be a really good life lesson.
No poop. No eating poop. Wash your hands. Wash your veggies. Freeze your meats for, 48 hours.
I mean, probably, I don't know if anyone's probably ever told you this flat out in your life, but do not eat poop.
Yeah.
From any source.
Those who eat poop end up in really bad situations.
Yes.
This is not good. So thank you. That's T-Plasmy.
Gondii. What were you saying? The other thing?
Hey, Toxo!
Hey,
Toxo!
Hey!
But for real, this could be really serious. Let's stop it from happening. Keep your cats indoors.
Oh, but it's like, I think I need a moment to just think about this. It's like, ugh. Basically, everyone has it.
This next thing?
No, your thing.
Oh my god, I was like, because I kind of know what we're going to talk about in the next thing, and like, I'm very scared of it.
I feel like,
how is that possible?
I did not know about toxic Gondii before, and now I'm really, I feel like I'm more scared of that.
This is having the opposite effect that I wanted to have. I feel safer knowing that there's tests and medicine.
Yeah,
and also I have an indoor cat.
And also I don't have cats. And I don't eat poop. And I don't eat mice.
Do you wash your vegetables?
I run them underwater.
Oh.
I mean, I don't know.
Like you take them for runs underwater?
I go swimming.
In a swimming pool with your veggies. There's your problem. Stop swimming in the pool with your vegetables.
But it's fine because it's really chlorinated.
Ooh, so it
just kills all of it.
It's chlorinated, tastes a little like pee. But
I mean, multitasking.
Ew. Anyways, I'm freaked out about things not being cleaned properly when running underwater because
the water's contaminated.
No, that would be awful. There was a freaking baby snail shell. How do you say that? Snail shell. That's hard to say. Snail shell. On the berries, and I almost crunched it.
Oh, I really just got the chills.
It's so disgusting. It is so disgusting, and I said it.
She said the P word.
You're not parasite. I mean paranoid. No, that's disgusting. So now I wash
with a sponge.
Nope. I'm very careful and I inspect for snail shells.
Yeah.
It was just the person didn't wash it. Like, they get washed for you. I'm like, pretty sure they don't. So everyone who thinks that their veggies and fruits
should be another episode of like, now I'm never gonna get berries at Yogurtland.
No.
Or any sort of frozen yogurt establishment.
It wasn't Yogurtland though, you dork. It was at home.
I thought you said you went somewhere and got berries.
No, I was with friends eating berries at home.
It was like a thing, an event. Hey, do you want to come over?
I know, I made it sound way cooler than it was. It was more like, hey, we have berries. Do you want some? And I was like, sure. And then I freaked out because there was a snail shell, and I don't think I even ate one. So I was like, how many more are there?
One time a weird white translucent spider came out of the grapes.
I thought you were going to say the grave. I don't know what grave you're talking about, but grapes?
Yeah,
translucent spider.
It was weird looking.
You sure it wasn't an alien?
I mean, maybe.
Oh, God.
I don't know what. Maybe we are.
I'm talking right now.
Okay, so wash vegetables.
Yeah.
Freeze your meat, which is good because we usually do that.
Cook it real well.
Don't
Don't put your
have
cat poop on
cats.
it.
But see, then you've got the other thing though, of like the E. coli and all that stuff.
That's a different episode.
Yeah, I know, but see, it's like, okay, good, I won't get toxic Gondii,
Yeah.
but could still get E. coli because you can't wash that off.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Ooh, that's a good tip though too. At our household, we do not label our frozen meat. Like we put it into like individual baggies. So when there's a recall and it's like, don't eat this meat, produce this thing. Oh, we don't know because there's no identifying information on these.
Put the lot number and expiration date on all of your
Yes.
goods.
That would
if
be
you take it out of its original packaging.
good advice
Mm-hmm.
so that you don't get
Yeah,
sick.
that is a good idea. Thanks, Katie.
You're welcome. The more you know. We'll put some cool effects right there.
Okay. Last thing.
Okay.
When I was doing this, I'm going to show you really quick. And he's like, oh. Because I have a cat. He's super cute. He's really fat and orange. So I was on my computer looking this up, and little cute guy, he's an indoor cat, so I'm praying he's not infected, was looking at me behind the computer screen while looking at images. Look.
He's
She's
like, I know about
amazing.
that.
He's like, yes, I am the host you're looking for who provides this nasty parasite. Alright, and there'll be a picture of a cute kid like that too. With the parasites. Not in him, but next to him on the computer screen. You'll see it.
Okay.
Let's hear about yours.
Alright, so mine is kind of scarier, but also less, it's more rare.
Okay.
So like yours is like basically everyone has it, and mine is like you can only get it very specifically.
Oh no.
It is about, well, broadly I'm doing amoebas.
Oh, amoeba is such a nasty
I know.
word.
It's like, let's spell it weird too.
Amoeba.
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 Amoeba, you got any of that Taxo?
Exacto. Amoeba.
Mostly I'm going to be talking about specifically, let me recall from my YouTube video of how to say it correctly.
No judgment.
Naegleria fowleri or fowleri.
Oh,
That
that's
sounded
good.
pretty good from
That was
the
pretty good.
YouTube video.
I feel like you went into a different place. You
I
like
was
looking at it.
I was recalling the video.
Wow.
It's a single-celled organism, the amoeba.
Just give it like an
Naegleria.
You can only say it like that.
I have to put my hand to my temple. Naegleria. Whatever. It is. So when I'm gonna say amoeba, that's the one
That's
I'm
the word.
specifically referring to, unless
Okay.
I state otherwise.
Got it.
It's commonly found in warm fresh water. So all the fun places you like to go in the
Aw.
summertime, like lakes, rivers,
Dang it.
etc. And also the soil.
Ah.
Alright, so basically it infects your brain.
Mm.
So I wrote it normally eats other organisms like bacteria that it gets from the soil in the riverbeds and the lake beds.
In riverbeds.
Just around.
Oh no, it's riverbend.
Same thing.
Same.
But when it gets up your nose, it eats your brain.
Shoot.
Literally eats your brain.
Oh god.
All right, so those will be the little tidbits that I feel like are the most important.
Yeah, brain.
Before I tell you the stories.
My head hurts just thinking of this.
I know, but you only get it when it goes up your nose.
What?
So you can't ingest it or get it through your pores. Like you can't, like you won't.
Ugh.
I mean, like you won't get it from just swimming in a
Okay.
lake that has it. It
Uh-huh.
has to go up your nose.
Ooh, how does it go? If you like, are you gonna tell me?
Yeah, I'll tell you. There's like, it's kind of sad. And it's eating your brain, so it's 97% fatality rate.
Yikes. Like you have it, you're going to die.
Yeah, basically.
Pretty much.
So in 2013, I got it from the NBCnews.com. it was the first, from what I could figure, it was the first case of it being in tap water.
Tap water?
Yeah. So this was in Louisiana. A 5-year-old died from this brain infection from the amoeba, and they think it was because of the slip and slide he was playing on.
Oh no, and open up his nose.
Yeah. So I was like, ugh. And then they were using the tap water.
Well, yeah, because you're just putting in the hose and you're having a good time. Holy cow, that's terrifying. Yeah,
so then for a while, this St. Bernard parish of Louisiana, they like confirmed that there was this amoeba in the water supply.
So there was like, it's still like as in just like one amoeba in all of the water.
No, yeah, they were finding it, yeah. And they were thinking too, because like, I don't know how, like, if it's a standard way of storing your water, but that's the whole thing of like when the water gets heated, that's how it thrives.
So obviously it's not moving.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because they also said they found it a lot in Australia when they were like moving water across the desert, and so the water was heating as it was traveling to the cities for like at the water supply, and then those amoebas were getting into their water supply too. So don't,
oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's so gross. So, but yeah, just being like from a slip and slide. So that was the first case of it. Well, at least in America. I'll put that disclaimer in America, because I was seeing articles for other countries, but I just, because there kind of was a lot.
What year was this again?
This one was 2013.
Oh
of
wow,
it being
that's
in
like
the
super
tap water.
recent.
Yeah, there's a lot of stories, but I just chose a couple because I wanted to go more into like what it does and stuff.
Yeah, okay.
And then and then I picked these stories too because they're kind of like, there's really weird, and what I thought freaked me out about them was that it's just doing everyday like fun like activities that you wouldn't think. So in 2016, an 18-year-old girl went whitewater rafting with her church youth group in North Carolina, contracted the infection or the amoeba, got an infection, and died. And they think she got it from when her raft tipped over and she like got submerged into the water. So like the water went up her nose.
That's
like
the worst
falling
when the
in.
water goes up
I
your
know.
nose.
And then I was thinking, because I kind of went like fake whitewater rafting before, where like the raft had an engine on it, but still, I was like, there's definitely water going up your nose.
Oh yeah.
And
Slip and slide, whitewater rafting, like you're getting water up your nose.
So now I'm like, oh my gosh. So here's a picture of
Oh,
I'll post this on the website. But so that's all of the cells that have the little black dot in them is the amoeba. So
is
that's a brain. I mean, those are pretty nice cells though, but yeah, so like basically all of those are amoebas. And I would assume like the little like small ones are like what's left of your brain.
I don't like that's so awful. And it's eating the cells?
Yeah, it literally just like eats your brain. Like that's what it feeds off of. Is your brain cells.
That's not good.
That's the specific Naegleria fowleri. But what I thought was kind of interesting too is the same vein where it's an amoeba, but it's a different type. I did not look up how to say this name, but it's Balamuthia mandrillarius.
I like it.
So this was a more recent one. I like your
pronunciation.
I think that you saw online.
Yeah.
Where using the neti pot.
That is like so
I think,
scary because so many people I know use that.
So I think this was like, or I think the most common way that you would be getting this, because I think it's kind of rare for it to be in the tap water. It will be in lakes and stuff like that. So the whole like, like plugging your nose when you jump into the water.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so you have to hold your nose.
Yeah, I didn't really understand the importance of that or why people do that. But yeah, so you plug your nose when you jump into the lake because you don't want water going up your nose, because the water could have these amoebas that then would shoot up your nose and eat your brain.
I just hit the microphone, so I'm trying to hold my nose. My nose hairs are like
they're not in the air.
Like some people are like, oh, like your hairs on your neck, or how do they say that? Like
the hair on the back of your neck is standing up.
Standing up, yeah. My nose hairs are like like freaking out.
I know. Now you know how I feel when you're telling your story.
Oh man.
This story is the most recent that I found, but it's with this different amoeba. Okay. So there's my disclaimer.
So there's more than one type of amoeba that did.
Yes. Oh. Yes. But this one's a little different. So I'm going to say this story first, and then I'll go back to the Naegleria fowleri. The falafel. So it was a 68-year-old woman from Seattle. She died from a similar brain infection after using tap water to rinse her sinuses.
Ugh.
This was from the Gizmodo website, but it basically broke down a study that a group of scientists did, and they think that it's the first case of this specific type of amoeba causing brain damage via rinsing your sinuses.
Aww.
This one is kind of worse than the other one because it's a free-living amoeba found in the environment.
Oh, like not just water?
Not just water and soil.
Oh. Okay.
And it's thought to enter the body when the soil containing this amoeba comes into contact with skin wounds, cuts, or when dust containing the amoeba gets breathed in.
Okay, this is so much worse than
So this one's worse than just the water, because the water, I feel like the good takeaway of this amoeba, the Naegleria fowleri, basically if you keep your nose covered and you use distilled filtered water to rinse your sinuses, you will not get this thing. But this Belmutheria mandrillarius, you can just breathe it in.
For real?
That's what it says.
Sorry,
So.
I'm not trying to like question you as like a researcher, but
yeah, it says.
This is really
dust.
bad.
Dust containing it gets breathed in or gets in your mouth. So what it's able to do is travel in your bloodstream.
But so it's not going to go to your. So it is going to go to your.
It will go to your brain via the blood stream.
And then eat your brain.
Yes.
So it's rare.
This one is rare.
Like
I think.
Hopefully.
I mean,
super duper.
I think it is, but I feel like this one would be easier to get just because it can be found more places. But it also takes longer to kill you. So
that's a
it
plus.
slowly kills you.
How fast does the first one kill you?
Within like 12 days.
Yikes.
I mean, this woman, they assume it took about a year.
That's way awful.
Yeah.
Because you don't even know, like.
But it's sad because they thought, because she,
sinus.
so she obviously was having like issues. I didn't look them up, but I'm guessing some sort of brain related issues because she got to the point of brain surgery, and they thought she had a brain tumor, and the surgeons were doing the brain surgery, and when they got to her brain, the surgeons were like quoted as saying like it looked like bloody mush.
Oh shit.
And then they're like, okay, something's wrong.
This can't be fixed.
This is not a tumor. And so they took a little like biopsy of it, and then that's when they found out she had amoeba. But by then it was kind of too late, and it was like widespread, like everywhere in her brain. And then
that's insane.
Yeah, and so I think she went, like she died like shortly after that. But also, don't ever rinse your sinuses with tap water. But also, so she used tap water filtered through a store-bought water filter. Like a. Yeah, I wrote down a brand name,
it's so like a type of water filter that you basically put your tap water in, you let it sit, and then the water pours out, then you can pour it out. Yeah. Don't trust those. Use the ones that are bottled, right?
Yes. So that also makes me question if this amoeba can get into you by breathing in dust. I was like, can it survive in the water? I didn't look. I was like, I'm the one asking that question, but I was the one that looked it up. But so it's like then you're kind of SOL because if it's in the water, regardless, and you drink it versus putting it up your sinuses. Yeah. But
interesting. So is there not that much information about this particular parasite? Like, where is it found? Like, is it widespread across the world? Is it like in your corner of your room?
That will be at the beginning of episode 3.
Okay. Sorry.
I don't know.
Sorry. I was just
it's okay.
Now you got me freaked out.
That's her. This is
no.
I'm showing Kylie a picture of the woman's, specifically her brain.
There's amoebas in all of the cells.
Yeah. So that was one of the more recent stories.
Yeah. This story particularly in general freaks me out to my core because I do sinus rinses. I got like my own set of issues. Everyone has their own issues, but like I know people who do sinus rinses. Like I was told by my doctor, like, oh, you use distilled water. So for me, that was just like, okay, got it, no big deal. I'm not going to use anything else. I know people who don't know to use whatever.
But it's okay, because you told me about sinus rinses, and I read the little instruction, and it's pretty clear to use only distilled water, or if you want to boil water, it has to be to a certain degree.
Yeah, for a certain amount of time.
So it's like
that's too much work.
Don't bother with that.
Yeah, but people are like, it doesn't matter.
No, it does.
It'll be fine. No, it does. You're literally squirting it like a little squirt gun to your brain, basically. Like, you know what? Let's take the fast track to your brain. That's awful.
Yeah. So don't use store-bought water filters or just straight-up tap water.
Bottled water or distilled water.
Yes, like bottled drinking waters.
Yeah, my doctor said that was okay too. She's in ENT, so.
Yeah, well, that gets screened and stuff, so I would assume.
Yeah.
But I did try looking that up, and I couldn't find any instances of any gross stuff being in bottled water.
Well, that's good.
That was my professional detective, like 5-minute Google searching.
Yeah, but still, that's important. And I mean, if you're gonna jump in a lake, like hold your nose. I mean, it sucks to get water up your nose, anyways. But hold your nose. Just don't.
The base. Yeah, that's basically all I have to do.
Hold your nose. And for the other one, don't worry about the dust because we don't have information.
Yeah,
too much information.
I don't know where that is.
But she did. It came from the tap water. Is what we're saying.
Yeah. So her tap water in Seattle had that.
That was recent, right?
Yes. The article was from February, and I think it said that she had recently passed. So she had been infected for the whole previous year. And I think
they just came out. That's why I'm confused.
Well, I think that it was more of the articles coming out because the people were doing, I don't know.
The testing, maybe.
The testing, or like they were doing
solidly determined.
Yeah.
Okay. Yikes.
Interestingly enough, it's kind of, okay, so here's the interesting part. You can't get infected by it by drinking water that has this amoeba in it.
Right.
The Naegleria fowleri.
The first one.
Yes. And so far, it hasn't been shown to cause infection through water vapor or aerosol, like droplets or anything. So if you're in the shower, quote unquote, showering with contaminated water, it's like that vapor, like breathing in that, like the water vapor, from what they have tested or whatever so far.
It's so rare too.
Well, yeah, that's the thing is, and that's a big bummer as to like why it's so deadly so far still. Is because first, it's very, very, very rare, and second, it basically kills anyone who gets infected by it. So quickly, yeah. In the 10 years between 2008 to 2017, only 34 infections were reported in the U.S. Of those, 30, so majority, was by recreational water. 3 were infected by doing the nasal rinsing with contaminated tap water. And the one was the backyard slip and slide. I know. So the technical science term, here we go. It's called PAM. Wham bam, thank you, Pam. It's primary amoebic meningioencephalitis.
Yeah, that sounds like bad news.
Yeah. It's basically just means brain infection.
Brain infections are not good.
Yeah, so initially you get the symptoms about 5 days after infection: headache, fever, nausea, vomiting. Then it continues on to stiff neck, confusion, lack of attention to people and surroundings, loss of balance, seizures, and hallucinations. And then death usually comes within about 5 days, but there's a range of 1 to 12 days after those first symptoms. But
so it's like, let's make you go through hell. And then...
it's literally destroying your brain, like within those, 5 to 12 days. So it's like you're basically turning into a zombie.
Okay.
So the fatality rate's over 97%.
Yeah.
From 1962 to 2007, 4 people out of 143 infected people have survived.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
I mean, yeah.
Technically, do we know how to survive?
I do not know how about those Well,
specifics.
I didn't write it down, but there was one that was saying, I think within that time frame of the Louisiana contaminated tap water, there was a 12-year-old girl who they gave some sort of experimental drugs or tests, which I did not look up what they were.
Mm-hmm.
And then it says she was slowly and like questionably recovering, and then it had a link in those words.
Mm-hmm.
So it's probably like, why is she weirdly recovering? So I don't know. I didn't look that up either. But that can be,
Man, that could be feedback.
Well, learn more about it. But that's kind of like what I was saying before, why it's so hard to treat, because like scientists and researchers don't really get a lot of time to study the people, or like they don't really know. Let's see, an article. So there's obviously people are trying to like find cures for it or treating it. As recently as October of 2018, there was a group of researchers studying this, and they were calling it central nervous system infections, and then specifically by these amoebas.
Mm-hmm.
And they were saying what needs to happen is they have to create new compounds that are able to cross the blood-brain barrier. And like that's because it's the brain, so they have to figure out a way to get these drugs into the brain, which I guess is harder than just like you get into.
You can't just put it into your bloodstream and then get to your brain.
Yeah, it's like
a good thing. That's why
please send to the brain.
That's why we have that barrier.
Yeah, so your brain's kind of sectioned off in terms of your like getting drugs into there, but they decided to test what they called anti-amoebic effects of drugs already available for seizures.
Okay.
Because these certain types of seizure drugs are able to penetrate the blood-brain barrier.
Right, they're already able to do that, so let's take advantage of those effects.
Yes.
Basically.
And so I didn't look the details of how they tested it, but they did show that these drugs reduce the amoebic effects.
That's good.
In vitro. So they're saying like it does have potential. I don't know.
In vitro.
I don't know. Or I don't know if that meant like animals or like.
Because wouldn't that be?
That was the last sentence. Was like this has potential for like in vivo studies.
Okay, so maybe they're all right. Maybe they're just putting those drugs
like onto it.
Onto the plate.
That's what.
Wow.
So
sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, yeah. That's
it's
why
like
I was kind of
I'm like question everything. No, I'm sorry. That's crazy. That's good that there's progress and.
So I mean, I feel like there will be something for it like soon.
Well, it's still so recent, 2013. I mean, I guess they're working with what they got.
Yeah, and so it's rare. It's a rare, fast-moving brain infection, so it's very hard to first diagnose because basically by the time you're hallucinating and all that stuff, it's kind of to the end. Yeah.
Point is, have fun.
Plug your nose.
Have fun. Plug your nose.
Mm-hmm. Don't put tap water in your nose. Don't have
cat
cats.
Poop. No. Have cats. Don't eat cat poop. Don't eat your dogs.
Think
Wash
about
your
that.
veggies.
Think about it before you
don't
plan on getting pregnant.
Yeah, think about the things that are important. Keep yourself alive. Keep yourself healthy. Keep your family healthy. Keep your cats healthy. Keep your nose healthy.
Keep your nose healthy. Keep your brain healthy.
Yeah. Because then your brain is what tells you to think of these things. Without your brain, you wouldn't know to care. You should care.
Yeah.
Because we care.
We care. Yeah, so.
We're spreading the knowledge. Spread the knowledge back to us.
Yeah, reach out to us.
Sorry, this was kind of long. We're coming out of our shells and we love it.
Hey!
It's us. This is us. Take it or leave it. No, don't leave it.
Please stay.
But for real, thank you for listening. Episode 2. We love you. I know we just started this, but we love you.
All right.
Well, thank you. And these things are real. And you're not paranoid.
Okay, bye.
Adios. Bye. You can go to our website at yournotparanoid.com. That's your spelled correctly, but no apostrophe. We're also on Instagram, You're Not Paranoid, and on Twitter, YNP Podcast.
One word?
One word.
Got it.
So the YNP, as in You're Not Paranoid, podcast. Do we have any other things?
I think that's it.
Okay, well, that's it.
Bye.
Bye-bye. See ya.